What's going on, YouTube? We're gonna do some work on the cage this weekend. We're not gonna get too much done because it's been a very busy weekend, New Year's Eve. But let me go ahead and show you what we'll get done. So I'm gonna make one, maybe two batches of the mix, and first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna address all the areas down here and make sure that we have all of our little holes and stuff filled up and smooth out the edges, and make sure we finish this area here. This whole thing was just paper mache, paper and glue, and I sculpted that rock, and I just want to cover it up. Maybe we can putty these cracks in the wood, or maybe get this branch covered. This was also paper mache earlier this week. Something else I'd like to get done is paper mache around this thing and finish off this branch. That would be good. At some point we do have to get this plexiglass secured to the cage. Maybe another day when I'm not so tired. Now, before we do all that, I have some floating shelves I have to make, so we're gonna go ahead and get started on that. First things first, let's get this covered. We'll get this little bottom corner covered first, as best as we can. I want to make sure there's no little holes or cracks or gaps, so when I put the water sealant on, it should fit very well and not give us any leaks. So we'll do many coats. Do a lot of coats until we get it smooth. No holes. That's the idea. Let's check on the iguana and see what she's doing. Living the life. Alright, we're gonna just go ahead and cover up this branch and this portion that we paper mache'd last week. I'm just gonna get about a 1/2 inch thick layer on this because I'm gonna do some texture to it. Just make sure we do our best to get all of that. Alright, got the branch covered. Now we're ready to make some texture. There's many ways that you can do this, and try different tools. With different materials, it's going to come out differently. This material is a lot more tacky and sticky, so it's hard to get a clean line. So for this branch, I'm going to make it just very rough bark texture. It's either go rough or go smooth. So we're going to do some rough bark in this area. And then other materials like cement, you can get a lot cleaner line. So depends on what you're using, and just play around, have fun with it. I'm just gonna make a bunch of random lines. We're gonna cross and intersect them. Keeping in mind, we're gonna keep this texture rough. Just keep crossing over those same lines that you've made over and over and over again. This is the point where if this were cement, it wouldn't gunk up like that. Because of this material, I'm going to make the bark very jagged because it's hard to get a clean line. Don't worry if you don't have enough material to cover everything. Like, I don't have the back yet. I don't have that covered. I don't have all of this covered. You can always, later on, after everything is dry, you can always just add more to it and overlap it a little bit, and you won't even tell where you left off. But I'm just going to keep it random. Just texture it up. Give the paint some surface areas to dive into and dab on top. It doesn't have to look perfect. You can always adjust as well when you're painting. You can do less paint, more contrast, less contrast. You can fill in more gaps if you don't want it to look so jagged. But we're just gonna dice it up as much as we can. If you mess up at all, you can just smooth it back out. Maybe it looks a little too busy. Just smooth it out a little bit. A couple areas, and then we can texture it up more if we need to. You want to make sure that you can get as much of this little holes and texture covered as possible, because if you were to get pests in the cage at all, mites, insects, or anything, you want it to be very easy to just scrub the whole thing down, clean it out, and start fresh. But if you have a bunch of little holes and ways for them to get into the interior, you're going to be screwed, and it'll be very difficult to maintain whatever problems may occur. Alright, let's take a look at what we did today. So we covered up this tree branch that was paper mache'd earlier. Went down here, worked with more detail. We still have a lot of work to do to get all these little nooks and crannies covered. But the biggest thing is we got this corner finished. We just got to get in there with some of those nooks and crannies. Things I didn't get to today was I wanted to cover up this tree branch all the way up to the top. And if we're feeling good, we may do a little more paper mache there, probably not. And we'll do another update next week. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you liked it, subscribe, hit the like button. I'm gonna keep making more videos until I get this thing done, and I hope you guys enjoy watching it. See ya.